Let me guess. Your home?
It was. And it was beautiful.
Welcome to Demasked. My name's Frezzman. Today I'm joined by Daitomodachi, source filmmaker, artist, and generally pretty cool guy. How's it going?
Doing fine. How about you, man?
Doing really well, actually. From looking at your channel, watching a bunch of the videos, a lot of your stuff I'd say is, well, anime based,
Yep.
Who would you say let's kick this off with a solid question. Who's your waifu?
Right now, the top waifu for me right now, well, there's like subcategories for me. In terms of like fate stuff, I would say Tamamo no Mai is my waifu right now.
You might have to send me something on that.
Oh wait, it's my bad. I just said Tamamo no Mai is my waifu.
Okay. I'll have to look that up after this, because I think that might be part of the background.
It's fine. Like the thing is that Tamamo no Mai is like a fox goddess waifu.
Sure.
Even though I'm not really into the furry things, but I don't know. The fox girl is interesting to me.
You know what? Fair enough, man. I can dig it. What would be your favorite anime altogether?
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
You know what? I should have guessed.
Yeah,
from the commented glasses.
Yep. It's been my favorite anime for a long time. It's been my favorite for a while now. So.
With Gurren Lagann, somebody like just kind of vaguely recommended it to me. I'm like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And I'm like, it's just a fun mech show. And then they start, throwing universes like there's like frisbees. I'm like, all right, this is great. When you get to that final the ending end fight with the anti-spiral.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit, man.
So, I've tried to get into source filmmaking, source filmmaker or myself, and it just it seems like it takes forever. Which one of these animations would you say took the longest?
I would say the animations that took the longest for me recently was my chocolate and vanilla fight over a ball animation and my modern Sonic travels to the past animation. The chocolate and vanilla animations took really long because the map was a pain in the ass to work with. Like there were times in which I rendered the animation. It took me 24 hours for the whole thing to be rendered out. Then I found more errors in that animation, so that took another 24 hours. I had to re-render it 5 times, so there were 5 times I had to re-render the animation that took 24 hours to do.
Oh. I don't know. I mean, at least as it stands now, I don't know if I have the patience for that. Jesus.
And you develop it over time.
So what got you started in source filmmaker?
What got me interested in source filmmaker was when I was like working in the engineering field, I was pretty lonely, depressed at times. So I needed to find a hobby to get my mind off stuff. And I remember back in college, source filmmaker recently came out. I dabbled around with it for a little bit, then went back to my engineering stuff. But then while I was like in engineering work, I thought, well, maybe I should try animating as a hobby, and the rest was history.
Huh. Let's see. Like it's hard to get a grasp on how long you've been doing this just from the videos alone. How long have you been animating?
I would say 5 years now. I've been animating since 2014. Well, technically my first animation was in 2012, but that was like just a one-off animation. But I've been animating consistently since 2014.
5 years. I'm rolling back through like all of these like thumbnails. Like, oh, I mean, over here on this channel, we're just approaching 3 years. So like, jeez. What projects do you got coming up? Do you still do Patreon commissions, or are you working on your own stuff?
Right now I'm revamping my Patreon because, to be honest, I've been doing a lot of work. I've been working with a lot more people. Like, I recently I'm working on a project with Rooster Teeth Death Battle. I'm in talks with doing a few projects for Team 4-Star, but that's been like up in the air lately. So I'm honestly thinking about like getting rid of those Patreon commissions. Patreon commissions, so that way it doesn't really stress me out. I still gonna wrap out the Patreon commissions beforehand, like the Patreon commissions that people commission me to do, but then afterwards, those commissions will have to be on a separate basis.
And I mean, you could always, bring them back whenever you're not working on, Rooster Teeth. Or did Screwtech get bought out?
Yeah, they got brought out by Rooster Teeth. Like, I would say recently, fairly recently.
Man, like I said, I'm slow to the draw when it comes to trying to catch up. So this is all new. Well, I need a chart somewhere of everything Rooster Teeth owns, because it seems like every once in a while just a new company shows up there. Soon enough, you and I will be working for Rooster Teeth.
Nice, man.
What would you say, like, have you had a sort of dream project in the works? Something you've been really wanting to do?
Yeah, in fact, I have two. One project that I really, 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 really want to work on is a Kamen Rider like web series. Like, I've been recently watching Kamen Rider, and honestly, I want to like do like a project and similar to the Kamen Rider series, but to do that it requires a lot of modelers, 3D environment modelers, so on and so forth. It's a very expensive project, but that would be a project I would like to work on down the line.
So, if I'm reading this correct, so you do some like your own modeling in Blender?
I do not do any modeling in Blender. I don't do any modeling in Blender. I do animating in Blender. And I do a lot of shader work in Blender, but I usually get those models from a third-party source, or I usually commission one of my friends to make the model for me.
Okay. Because that's another thing I'd personally like to learn, but every time I open Blender, I'm like, all right, I guess I can't figure it out. Time to back out. So, have you considered working on other art forms other than animation?
I would say I've been toying with game design.
Really?
Like, in my off time, like working with a few other projects, but I just I just see myself doing mostly animating work.
Well, I mean, if you were to make a game, what kind of game would it be?
Ideally it would be like a beat 'em up. Like, I would start off small.
Sure.
I would start off very, very small. Like, I would start off with a beat 'em up, then work my way up to a character action game, and then RPG of some sort, some kind. But I would imagine like beat 'em up would be the first of those projects.
What's your favorite game?
My favorite game at the moment, I would say Persona 5 is my favorite right now.
Okay.
In terms of RPGs. Another favorite game of mine is Devil May Cry 5. That recently came out.
I haven't gotten around to that. Is that good?
It's very good. It's like Game of the Year material.
Fantastic. Personally, I haven't had the funds to pick up new games on. I actually just recently got into Devil May Cry myself. I got the HD collection when it was on sale. And
for the Switch?
No, the for Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just play it with my controller. But I gotta say I certainly missed out because I got introduced to, like, you know how like DMC2 is like the worst in the series.
Yeah.
I got introduced to that at like 10, or not at 10, but when it came out. And so for years I was like, man, this game's dumb. It's just a guy with white hair and a sword, and it's dumb, whatever.
Did you play like DMC 3 or 4 afterwards?
Well, I went back like just recently, and I had DMC 4 sitting in my Steam library because I got it for like $10, and I'm like, you know what, I'll sit down and try it, and then I'm like, oh man, this is really cool, and then like the fight with like the savior and everything, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then that's when I picked up the HD collection, and I'm like, oh, I'll try DMC2 again. I'm like, oh, it still sucks.
Yeah, I have not touched DMC2 yet, and to be honest, I don't think I will.
Like, the last boss is a great idea done in the worst possible way.
How so?
It's just a living amalgamation of all the bosses you fought up to that point, and it's like sitting in the middle of a room, and you have to run around and like fight every like sort of like head that's poking out of every boss that you fought so far. And that works in concept, but the boss itself doesn't rotate. You have to run around the room, and they have a sort of like vision cone for their attacks that you can easily step outside of, but still target them with your guns.
Huh.
And so, like, you take out one boss, but then you can just stand outside the other boss's field of vision and just shoot them until it's over.
I don't know. I still don't know if I'll touch that game, to be honest.
I think it's worth a shot, because for all the things that it's terrible at, there are certain things that's like super interesting, like a roll, like dodge button that also acts as a wall run.
Really?
Yeah, it works pretty well. I mean, I didn't find much use for it because everybody you fight's on the ground, but
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with like DMC 4 or 5 for now. Maybe 3 down the line, but 2 I've heard enough too many horror stories about it.
Well, if I remember, DMC 1 kind of got messed up with the HD re-release. Because it was like the final boss fight with Mundus, and you're in Devil Trigger form, and you're firing these like vaguely Japanese symbols, but you can't tell really what they are because they're kind of blurry. But they're supposed to be like spinning. But
Yeah,
they're not. But they're not spinning.
yeah. I remember like 2 best friends before they broke up. mentioned that in their LP.
I still can't believe they broke up, man.
Yeah, it's pretty heart-wrenching to hear it.
Well, I mean, like, it doesn't seem like they left on terrible terms. Or did new stuff come out that I missed?
I think they left on on bad terms because in their like breakup video, they mentioned that Matt and Pat are no longer friends. So I think they left on bad terms, dude.
That hurts. Man, I'll have to do more research now. So your what's the word I'm looking for? Persona avatar of the YouTube space. Mostly portrayed by looks to be an edited like soldier from TF2, or not, Demo Man from TF2.
Yep. That's
with the
right.
comedy glasses.
Yep.
So how did that design come about?
I remember. It's kind of a silly reason. Honestly, I was messing around with SFM and I was like saying to myself, well, if I'm going to do this YouTube thing, I need to find like a character to represent me. Unfortunately, there weren't really a lot of minority characters at the time, or minority characters I could find. So I decided to go with the Demo Man, and I found out that, and I actually used this SFMer's model named Maxie's Demo Man model because he had like pajamas or whatever, and I thought, oh wow, that's a chill look. It wasn't until, and then for years I forgot to put shoes on. Well, I didn't forget. It's more a line of I didn't know how to put shoes on him. It wasn't until like I think 2 years ago that my friend actually showed me how to put like 2 years ago my friend actually showed me how to like put like shoes on him.
Well, I've been trying to learn how to get like how to do animations in what's it called? Gary's mod, like this sort of like almost like stop motion animation. And like
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
I'm trying to learn different animation formats, and like Source Filmmaker is certainly one of the ones I'd love to get into because it seems like it has a lot going for it.
I've been using Source Filmmaker for 5 years. It's a good starting program, but it's not a program that to stick with at the end game. Like, yes, you can get animations done pretty quickly compared to other 3D programs, but compared to like stuff like Maya, Blender, 3D Max, it is very, 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 very limiting. Like, for example, one of the issues I've had over the years is like how animes look in Source Filmmaker. Anime models of Source Filmmaker, like Source Filmmaker does this weird thing in which it adds a fucking gloss to it and makes the model look porcelain, I guess. But that's like an issue with the engine. Not like there are ways around it, but you can't really get that good toon shading compared to like stuff like you see in, I guess, Ruby or what's another good 3 cell shaded program. But that's the main issue I had with Source Filmmaker for years. But when I started doing animations in Blender, it's definitely possible to get like a good toon shaded look in Blender, and that's one of the reasons why I'm planning on like making like a switch to Blender either by the end of this year or midway through next year, because one of the other projects I'm working on right now is a small little series involving my emo Gohan character called Gohanverse. But I started that project in SFM, and I want to finish at least season 1 in SFM. So I won't be able to make a complete switch yet.
Sure. Well, what would you say would be the, I'd say, like, what should be the standard when it comes to animating, like, as far as programs go?
I say just obeying, like, sticking to the rules, the 12 principles of animations would be a good start. But in terms of, like, a style, there is no rules. Well, there are many people who will say, oh, your animation has to look like Pixar quality for it to be good. I don't believe that. I believe that animations should look whatever way they want. You can make it look like the Captain Underpants movie. You can make it look like Spider-Verse. You're not 3D. Like, in fact, I talked about it on Twitter once. The thing a lot of animators need to stop focusing on is that they need to stop focusing on making sure the animations look like Pixar quality, because Pixar has like hundreds of people working on an animation. You just have, at most, some SFM teams have like 1, 2, 3 people. I mean, you have people like Winglet be able to achieve like really high quality SFMs. But generally speaking, SFM is pretty limited. But going back to the point, I've encountered so many animators, SFM animators, that said that if your animation is Pixar quality, then it's crap, it's shit. That's not the proper way of thinking, because Pixar spent years and years and years working on the animation projects. If you're trying to upload stuff on YouTube and hopefully have that YouTube channel grow, that's not going to happen most of the times. I mean, you might get lucky and your video will be retweeted, shared around, but because of how YouTube is so I would say cutthroat, you have to be consistent with your animations. Even if you upload once a month, that's still good enough. But the other thing is that these people spent years and years working on their animations, and it's developed this perfectionist attitude. To me, I don't think that's really a good. It is good to have to some extent, but you shouldn't be overly judgmental, because you're just going to keep limiting yourself. You won't be able to learn for the next project, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I think that comes with any I'd say skill-based profession, is that sort of elitism. You know, we're not doing it right. And so, if you were to give a tip to like anybody who's thinking about getting into animation, what could you help them? Like, what would you give them to help them?
Like tips for the animation?
Like just starting out.
Like, just a general tip for working on animations. I would say just discover yourself. Don't spend time trying to copy another animator's style. Well, learn from that animator, but just spend time making animations that you want to make animations of. If you want to make animations of My Little Pony, go for it. If you want to make animations of Five Nights at Freddy, go for it. Undertale, knock yourself out. Make animations that you want, not animations based on what other people want you to make.
Okay. So would you say it's a good idea to not flat out copy somebody's style, but to at least take notes on how certain effects were achieved?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's because you see a lot of, people out there like, oh, you copied, so and so because this is like that, and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just a tad bit unfair, especially if somebody's just starting out.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to like say. Like one of the other things that I really, really, really think that a lot of animes need to like do is be supportive of each other, not completely put down other animes who are just starting off as well.
Mm. And would you say that's an issue, kind of, well, with animators, but with animators as well? But would you say that's kind of a issue across YouTube as a whole?
I would say it's just, from my experience, it's just animators, just for animators. Like, to be fair, is what I've seen in like a few communities I've been in the past. Like, but I haven't really. But from my experience, it's just like animation communities in general.
Mm-hmm. Have you trying to look through here, but unfortunately can't read as fast as I'm scrolling. have you done animation work, like a collaborative effort with anybody prior to what you mentioned? Getting contacted by Team 4 Star and Rooster Teeth.
Tons. I've worked with ProZD starred in a few animations in the past. I haven't really have him in my animations recently because he's really busy. Kira Buckland, who's the voice of 2B, starred in a few of my animations. If Takahata 101, Kaizen Neko is also lending his voice for another parody. Moscow X. Doing some projects with Devil Artemis, Prince Vegeta, Siggy VA, Dead Jersey. I work with a fair amount of like popular VAs in the past, and still currently.
That's actually really cool, especially the 2B voice actor. That's actually really, really cool.
Yep. There were times in which when I asked her for a role, she asked, "Hey, so do you have like any Jolene roles?" So sometime down the line, I have to do like a JoJo Part 6 parody, so that way I can ask her if she can voice Jolene.
Is she going to voice Jolene later on, like in actual JoJo Part 6?
I mean, I can't imagine happening. Like eventually there's going to be a Part 6 adaptation, even though I'm not going to watch it. I'll talk about that later, but I can definitely see Kara Buckland voicing Jolene down the line. Definitely. But going back to the whole Part 6 thing, if there's a Part 6 anime coming out, I'm not going to watch it. I already know what happens, and I'm not emotionally ready for that to happen. I'm really not.
You know what? Like, I totally get that.
Yep.
What I was gonna say, is it because of like you don't like the animation style, but if it's a story beat that you can't handle, then I totally get that.
The thing is that I have no qualms with watching like the animation. JoJo's animation always been good, but I can't. But I don't have the stomach for that ending. I will not spoil that ending because I want people to experience it themselves. But I do not have the stomach for the ending.
Great, now I gotta start reading Part 6, I guess. What's it called? Like, only in certain contexts do I, is it because it's messed up or, disgusting?
It's heart-wrenching.
Heart-wrenching. See, that I actually kind of, go for, but certain series or books kind of really have to work up to it. If it's just shock value or trying to be heart wrenching without really any lead up, then it kind of falls flat.
Well, the thing is, what's funny about JoJo Part 6 is that the creator promised promised a large amount of like story events, like huge story beats, but then midway to the end of JoJo Part 6, he forgot them, and it just caused him to like say, you know what, I'm gonna do the ending, and that ending happened.
Oops, forgot, and then everybody dies.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But since you said it, okay.
Hey, the fact that you just immediately tried to defend that means that probably happens, and I just blindly guessed.
Oh my god! Oh well. Good. I guess put a spoiler. I guess put a spoiler warning.
Good job.
God damn it. But yeah, everyone dies in Part 6, and I can't, and I don't want to see that happening.
You know what? That's fair. Like I read only a small section of, I believe it was Part 1, and the ending to Part 1, I believe, was made even more heart wrenching when it got animated. When it like Dio's trying to barter with Jonathan, and Jonathan's already dead. Like, he just looks up, he's like, oh god, he's already gone, and then he just slumps over. Actually, that would be a good place to jump into. What anime has made you cry?
You know what? Years and years ago, I would have said there hasn't been a single anime that made me cry. Not a single one. But then last year, like it was a couple weeks after one of my dogs passed away. I was watching Made in the Abyss, and near the end of that season, it had an event in which one of the characters' friend, love interest, got turned into like a creature that is just that every day it lives, you just pain and agony. And there was a point where the other character asks one of the other characters to like kill his friend, put him out of his misery, and it just reminded me of the time where I had to put my dog down, and it actually made me cry a little bit remembering it. So I would say Made in the Abyss actually made me crying.
I'm a big like softie when it comes to subject matter that is sad or just downright depressing. And so like I didn't used to be into anime, but my wife got me into it by introducing me to Madoka Magica.
That is a good one.
And I like the first episode. I'm like, I don't know if this thing for me. It looks like just regular magical girl stuff. Then Mommy Tomoe gets decapitated. I'm like, okay.
That was anime history. Like I remember when I saw that back in college. I remember flipping, like just in utter shock. Like I actually remember when I saw that, I got out of my seat and I just shouted, "What?" And the funny thing was like immediately after it happened, I'm like, oh, they'll just revive her. Madoka is going to use her wish to obviously revive her. Next episode, nah, she's dead. Not, don't use your wish. She's dead.
She's dead until Homura messes everything up.
Yep. So yeah.
Well, that's the part that like made me tear up, was like that whole episode showing like Homura failing over and over again.
That was pretty tough. Especially
what's that?
Especially the part where like Madoka asked Homer to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
That was another tough part.
Well, yeah, there's another anime that my wife had me watch specifically because it was sad, and it was Anohana. Have you seen?
Yeah, I've watched Anohana. That, I don't know, man. Like, it didn't really make me cry. It just made me feel sad, if anything.
The last the last couple minutes are what got me.
And was they momentarily saw her, and then she moved on.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, we found you, Manma." I'm like, "Oh no!" And like they're like kind of goofier. I mean, I wouldn't say downright silly moments that have made me tear up, but like, just like if you were to look at it outside the context of the show, like it doesn't make any sense. But like having seen everything up to that point, like really gets you. Like ending of Kill la Kill.
I don't know. Like you said, like I rarely ran into a time in which an anime made me cry, but I get that the end of Kill la Kill was pretty emotional.
Well, like it was like when she's fallen back to Earth, and like Senketsu's like, "Oh, you'll find outfits that are cuter than I am," as he's burning up. I'm like, "Oh no!"
Fuck yeah.
So what would you say would be like the what's the term I'm looking for? What anime has made you feel like the most hype, if that makes sense?
Hype again, Gurren Lagann, the most hype one.
Fair.
What's another? What I'm trying to think of another one. I would also say Gridman last year, like SSS Gridman. Like it started off pretty slow, but then it started picking up in later episodes. Like I would say around episode 9, that's when things start picking up. But there was like a lot of hype moments in Gridman. Too bad. The thing that made me kind of upset about Gridman was how people were just shitting on it for its 3D animation, which in my opinion, the 3D animation in Gridman isn't. It has issues, but there are like a lot more questionable. There's a lot more questionable animes with like questionable decisions for the 3D. But in terms of like hype moments, I would say Gridman, and recently.
So, would you say what kind of anime do you primarily like? Because if I remember, Gridman's a mech show.
Yeah, it's a weird category. Like the main guy himself is mecha, but is actually tokusatsu, which is like Japanese superhero type of thing. But in terms of anime that I've been watching, like a particular genre of anime, I don't know. Like years and years ago, it was ecchi anime. Like I watched a lot of ecchi anime back in like college, but then I started getting tired of ecchi anime because they did a lot of like weird stuff in there. Like for example, like there was this one fucking ecchi anime called Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher? In which there was like an episode in which the teacher, in which one of the characters actually had the male protag shove a pill up her butt. And I'm just flipping out, like, wait, what? Why are they doing that? And it turns out that recent ecchi anime have this freaking trope of shoving shit up people's butts. And I'm like, and I'm just like wondering, like, why? Well, that makes no sense. So
why is that the trend?
I don't know, but it's apparently a common trope in like ecchi anime these days. But which is one reason why I haven't been watching a lot of ecchi anime lately. But to answer the question, I don't really have a particular genre of anime these days. Like I'll watch like shoujo anime, shonen anime. I'll watch mecha. I'm pretty flexible when it comes to like anime these days, except some ecchi anime bullshit.
I've been trying to like expand my horizons. So like, I'll watch Gurren Lagann or Kill la Kill or something like that, but then I'll watch like Clanad.
Clanad is a classic, yeah. It's a classic.
Or what's the Oran Host Club or something like that?
Yeah, Oran Host. Yeah, that's another like classic right there.
I when I like the photos of it, like it was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but the photos leading up to watching it didn't really do it any favors. I'm like, oh, it's just like a cutesy high school thing. But then there's like a lot of like really strong character development in that show.
Yeah, it's a darn shame that it can't get season 2.
Oh, did it get canned?
Yeah, it got canned. I mean, the manga finished years ago, but it got canned. It couldn't get a season 2 because it didn't have enough interest in it.
Have you watched Berserk?
I've watched Berserk. I watched the 1991, the 1990s one, and the recent, also lovable 2016-2017 one.
What's it called? The Golden Arcs or something like that?
No, it was after the Golden Arc. It's the 3D animated one that 3D anime one that became a meme because of how poorly animated it was.
From what I heard, it got better. Like as the movies went on.
No. This is not the movies. I'm not talking about the movies. I'm talking about the TV show. I'm talking about the actual TV anime.
Oh, did they like re-release it or not re-release but redo it?
Here's the thing: the Berserk movies took place between the Golden Age.
Sure.
And for years and years and years, Berserk fans been clamoring for like something after the Golden Age. People kept saying, "Oh, we've seen the Golden Age, we've seen Eclipse. We want to see post Eclipse. We want to see that." So they finally got it, and feel free to like put this in like the video, and they got. Let me find like a good freaking example. And they got this instead.
Ah, God, that looks like a Tekken 1.
Oh wait, wait, it's not animated. There's the animated version.
Oh goodness, no. That.
I mean, to be fair, the opening was really well animated, but the rest of the show was kind of bad. Story-wise, it was fine. Animation-wise, bad.
I'm definitely gonna have to put that GIF in the video. I gotta find a clip or something of it. There's this thing I've been sort of picking up on lately where I've started really looking into like armor in like either sci-fi or just like fantasy in general.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that really got my attention was the Berserker armor.
That is a hell of an armor.
Well, like, not only is it just great looking, but also the fact that like it doesn't heal the user, but it just kind of fixes whatever's wrong.
Mm, yeah.
Like where he gets his arm like snapped and the armor just kind of puts it back into place, but it doesn't like fix it. It just keeps it there. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, the berserk armor is pretty wild, man.
What would you actually that? Well, like I know it's off topic from. I mean, I guess it still falls in the category of suits. What would you say would be your favorite mech?
You expect me to say Gurren Lagann again?
I do.
No, I'm not. I'm actually going to. I would say Code Geass has a lot of good mechs. Like the characters are skinny as hell, but they have but that show has one of the best mech designs I've seen in any anime, especially season 2. I can't really name a particular mech that's my favorite in Code Geass season 2. In fact, I gotta get like one of the model kits for like one of the mechs in the show. But Code Geass in my opinion, Code Geass has like pretty good mechs.
Okay, I've seen parts of this. Like, Code Geass sounds familiar, and I recognize the fellow with the cape, but I can't remember his name.
Zero.
Okay. Well, interestingly enough, one of my favorite mechs ever isn't even from an anime.
Really?
It's Metal Gear Rex.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, it's just there's something about it that just like it's got a rail cannon. You can run around on 2 legs, and it has that like the pilot's chair that looks super comfortable.
It also looks like I would say like a Rex or a well, hence the name. Like like a huge Rex.
But I I started paying attention to like mechs because of like Metal Gear, because I only got into Metal Gear like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like the same problem I had with like Devil May Cry. It's like, oh, I'm just sneaking around a forest because I was playing like MGS3, and like, oh, whatever, it's dumb. What's this like weird like ape escape mini game?
It's a shame that Konami just ruined the franchise.
Just pachinko.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I've spent a fair amount of time yelling at Konami on Twitter.
I made a collab because of what Konami did.
It's just like, you don't even have to make it better. You don't have to put it in Fox Engine. Just re-release 1 through 4 on PC, and I will be happy. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
You will be given free money.
Oh yeah, lots of money.
But no, it's like, guess what? We're gonna like Fox Engine render MGS3 cutscenes, and then also.
Yeah. I swear Konami is pretty weird. Weird at times.
We're gonna make Volgin look the best he's ever looked, and then we're not gonna use him for anything.
We're just gonna use him for the Jenga machine.
I'm gonna need I'm looking at photos of Guts from Berserk, so I'm gonna need a Fox Engine render of Guts. Oh man, a Fox Engine Berserk game? What was the... So you know how Gurren Lagann is powered by like the pilot's like fighting spirit?
Yep.
So I had the thought of like I'd watched Kill la Kill, and I started Berserk before starting and finishing Gurren Lagann. And I'm like, who would be a better pilot for Gurren and Lagan other than Kamina and Simone. And I figured, since they are both, like, almost living willpower, Lady Satsuki and Guts.
Sasuke is a good one. Guts, I don't know about Guts because he can get a little bit too crazy. But I think Sasuke has that drive and that control that I think would work pretty well for Gurren Lagann. And I think Guts, and I think if Guts got in it, that mech is going to lose control a lot of the time, and it will cause people to like injure each other. Well, it will cause Guts to injure more people, even though he injured other people in that mech. So.
Now, here's the real question here. When it comes to anime, subs or dubs?
Alright, I prefer... Most of the times, I prefer sub anime. Most of the times, but there are some anime I listen to dub, like Cowboy Bebop, I listen to dub. Dragon Ball, I listen to dub. But the thing about that is it's just like there are times in which people will flip an unnecessary shit about sub and dub animes. Like I go on Twitter and other people are harassing like English voice actors for doing quote unquote shit job for one of their animes. Like for example, the Evangelion anime, Netflix's Evangelion anime, been getting shit on lately. Some with good reason, some not so good reason, and one of them is, and like one good example is with the voice for Shinji. People are saying the person who voiced Shinji did a terrible job. He sucks. Other people saying he's good or whatever, and just a huge minefield.
Well, if I remember, one of the major complaints was that oh god, I can't remember his name. White-haired fellow.
Karu.
Yeah, from what I heard, that like dialogue got changed. That sort of almost like changed the whole like romance dynamic.
You are worthy of my grace. Because in the original originally in Evangelion, there was a scene in which Kaoru said, "I love you, Shinji. I love you." And now they just change it to, "I like you, Shinji. I like you. You're a good fellow, Shinji." And it's apparently there's a bit of like controversy involving that. Like at first, like apparently one of the translators. I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed or not, but apparently one of the translators had a right-leaning agenda, so he changed some things to match with that agenda. In fact, there was like one scene in Evangelion in which there was a scene in which they said, "Oh, terrorists attacked the facility." They actually changed it to a left-leaning terrorist group attacked the facility. Even though that wasn't in the original dub or in the original sub.
That's an oddly specific change. It
is a very, very weird change. Like
this terrorist group attacked, but I'm pretty sure they're all Democrats.
Yep. Like I try to be middle of the world when it comes to my political views, but even I am just like saying, nah, that's not cool, man. That's not cool.
Like I've told a couple people about this. Like I'm not political, really at all, and I don't really have any views, at least as far as politics go, that would be considered left or right leaning. Because I have one general rule that everybody seems to not follow, and it's don't be a dick.
It is hard to follow that rule on the internet these days because people want to be dicks on the internet.
Yeah, and so like it's like, oh, immigration, all this. I'm like, man, like, I don't know.
Yep.
Is here and now the point in time to show how much of a dick you can be? You know, this can go on for as long as you'd like.
I say I gotta take care of stuff in 10 minutes, so I guess I can stick around for 10 more minutes.
Well, I mean, we can wrap this up right now. Usually, I like to. Usually, it's whatever works for, whomever is being interviewed. Because,
Okay.
like personally, I've got nothing going on today, so like it's all on you or anybody else,
Yeah, that's understandable, fam.
Yeah, so we can wrap this up right quick.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, real quick. So, the full name Daitomodachi, is it shortened down to Dai?
Yeah, Dai.
Okay.
Or Daito.
All right. I didn't want to like maybe Dachi, but that doesn't.
That's fine, dude. No worries.
So, Daito, thank you so much for coming on today and just like shooting the shit with me.
That's absolutely no problem. This was honestly a lot of fun. It was nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, and it was super nice having you on. I have one last question for you, just to wrap things up.
Yeah.
If asked, would you be willing to come back on as a return guest?
Yeah, I can come back down the line as long as my schedule would allow me to.
Yeah, I mean, this sort of the unspoken motto of this show. It's like whatever works for you.
Yep, absolutely.
So, thank you very much, Daito, for coming on, and thank you for watching, people at home. I thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by, and thanks again, Daito, and I hope everybody has a nice day.
Yep, nice talking to you, man.
Yeah. Have a good one, party people.